It's confirmed. So we have multiple huge updates, including one brand new report that has dropped surrounding Andrew Wiggins and Rob Pelinka and the Lakers' pursuit of the wing. We're going to break down these new reports and discuss what it means going forward, as well as some interesting updates surrounding Luka Doncic following what has been an electric offseason for him. A ton to go over today, but before we get into it all, if you're part of the percentage who aren't subscribed to the channel, quick reminder to hit that subscribe button. Your guys' support has been unbelievable. You've been an absolute beast. Folks, a lot to go over today, and obviously the number one talking point over the past few days and past few weeks really has been making a trade specifically regarding Andrew Wiggins following some new reports from Mark Stein, from Dan Wokey, and things like that. And I've been covering him now for the Wiggins rumors for the past few days, and a brand new one has dropped today confirming, folks, that they have engaged on talks and are actively engaged in trade talks for Andrew Wiggins. Now, I'll kind of give you the summary of a bunch of the new reports and things like that. But let's just start with this one. It dropped a few hours ago, confirming that the Heat and the Lakers, or maybe yesterday night, whatever. The Heat and the Lakers are engaged in trade talks for Andrew Wiggins, and the verbiage here is pretty important because we know for a while, whether that be Jovan Buha, whether it be Anthony Irwin, guys like that, they were involved in Wiggins trade talks a few months ago, right when the season ended for the Lakers and when the postseason ended and teams could engage in conversations. We know they engaged a little bit, nothing came of it. The Lakers didn't want to move their first round pick. However, a new report came out a week ago, again from Dan Wokey and Mark Stein, saying that that would be a player, Wiggins that is, that the Lakers would be intrigued and would be interested in pursuing if it got to a point where, maybe they could lower the price, the Heat that is. And then reports started to circulate that things could actually be getting real surrounding this. And then out of nowhere here today, we got a confirmation that the Heat and Lakers are actively engaged in talks, which means if a deal is going to go down, it could happen as soon as, this week. Now, is it still likely? I think it's very possible at this point. Usually when there's smoke, there's fire with NBA trades in general. Now we know Rob Pelinka kind of moves in silence and tends to do things behind the scenes, but it has been a pretty quiet offseason, and that's why, and part of the reason that this makes so much sense for the Lakers is that no other teams have really made big splashes, and clearly it must be not a seller's market or a buyer's market. It's kind of no one's market right now, but if the Heat want to continue to press their ask of a first round pick, maybe the Lakers can find a way to get it done. Now, we obviously know how good Wiggins is. I'm going to kind of highlight this quote tweet here. He'll be guarded by the fourth best defender every night with three great playmakers around him. This has a less than 10% chance to fail. Andrew Wiggins being your fourth option is a great team, and he'll have the legs to chase around the best players every night. Now, I've been on the record saying this a bunch. I'm not going to, continue to say it. Well, I will continue to say it, but I'm not going to dive into it too much. Wiggins makes his team a championship, arguably like a championship favorite, but especially like a real championship contender. And I think they are a championship contender even without Wiggins. But we can start to look at some of the articles that have dropped. This one 21 minutes ago, as of the time of recording. 3-team trade pitch sends Lakers overload to Nets, Mavericks for Luka Doncic's favorite lob threat. Now, we know, we've talked about the Lakers and their pursuit of guys like, in this case here, you can see Daniel Gafford, all these different things. Now, I want to bring this up. Obviously, this isn't a trade for Andrew Wiggins, but it goes to show that there are still a lot of rumors circulating surrounding a bunch of different players. And we've covered Daniel Gafford on the channel before, but I want to bring this up because this doesn't fix the Lakers' problems here. People are talking about how, and there's been a lot of different talks about, the Lakers trading for Daniel Gafford and all these different things. Wiggins is the guy that solves your problem. It's not Daniel Gafford. It's not, I can bring up a bunch of these trades that have kind of come out. It's not any of these guys. Yes, Gafford is a very solid player who could make this team better. And I'll probably have a video covering him again as a potential option. But you don't want to use your picks. And you can see in this report here, it's the Lakers giving up their 2031 first round pick. They don't want to do that for any big man, I don't think, at this point. And we know that the Heat have wanted that first round pick. And if they're going to give it up, it'll be for someone like Wiggins. Now, if reports surrounding the package have been made fairly clear, it seems to be the ask from the Heat side is Dalton, Knecht, and then first round pick, 2031 first round pick. Now at this point, it doesn't seem like the Lakers are super interested in doing this, at least as it stands currently, because of the fact that obviously, the Lakers are very protective of the draft assets that they have left because their draft capital is quite minuscule. Now, at the same time, you're getting Andrew Wiggins back, where I'm super of the mind regarding regarding Wiggins. Trade your first round pick for him. If you have to throw in Knecht, I feel like the deal probably would have gotten done months ago. But if the Lakers think that, okay, whatever, they saw the whole offseason, how it played out, the lack of moves, they can really make a push in this Western Conference now. Not many other teams have gotten better. I mean, we just talked about the Mavericks and, the Lakers getting Daniel Gafford. Like, that doesn't move the needle for me. No other move that we've covered on this channel really too much, at least, moves the needle. Quentin Grimes, he's a very interesting name. I covered him in a video there a few days ago. Like, that's a guy that's cool. But again, like I would much rather go for Andrew Wiggins in a deal like that. And let's dive into Wiggins a little bit here because again, his stats are fantastic. Last year with Miami in 17 games, put up 19 points. And of course, you don't need him to score 19 points a game, but I'm going to keep bringing up the 2021-2022 season with the Warriors where he was a starter, was a great defender, and was one of the key reasons. And I think Steve Kerr said like one of their, if not their most important player, of course, outside of the key, I mean, Steph Curry really, and some of the other key guys. He was the point of attack defender for that team. And they had a few people, of course, Draymond Green, one of the best defenders we've ever seen, like especially versatility wise. But Wiggins has the ability to play that complementary role, be a role player, and he played alongside Draymond Green, which we know isn't easy. He played alongside Steph Curry, which is probably pretty easy. But again, he knows how to win, and he's only 29, going to be 30 years old when next season starts. And it would just be a perfect fit for this Lakers team. And something that not a lot of people are talking about is, again, the fact that there's so many good players in this team. You can see here he'll be guarded by the fourth best defender. It's true. You have Luka, you have LeBron, and you have Austin Reaves. Those are three scorers that are better than Andrew Wiggins scoring, which leaves you with, the leftovers regarding defenders with Wiggins on the floor. But his goal isn't even to score, but you can still give it to him if it's available. And that's what separates him from guys like Marcus Smart, guys like some of the other players, and even separates him from Herb Jones. I'm not saying he's a better player than Herb Jones or a better defender, because he's not a better defender than Herb Jones. You can argue if he's a better player. But he can create his own shot a lot better than Herb Jones can, Andrew Wiggins. And that's something that you don't want to take for granted too much either, especially if you're running in with the bench unit, which doesn't have a ton of offensive creation. So let me know down below what your thoughts are on this. Also, throw your thoughts on these new reports surrounding, Daniel Gafford. I just don't see it happening simply because of the fact that if they're going to give up assets, it's going to be for Wiggins. Just wanted to shut that down within this video as well here. But let's move on now before we wrap up. And we know how good Luka Doncic has gotten regarding his conditioning. And he just finished up the Eurobasket tournament, was absolutely dominant. I covered that in multiple videos as well. But obviously the big storyline was how good his conditioning is and how much in good shape he actually is, and how good of a shape that, especially compared to last year, right? That's where all the conversations were from Nico Harrison. He shared his offseason regime, and feel free to pause and read the whole thing. I'm not going to do that, but we know one of the biggest criticisms was his conditioning. And with an interview with Jason Gay of the Wall Street Journal, the Lakers superstar has revealed a new offseason regime to get in shape. And he said, "For the first time, I stopped playing basketball for a month." Doncic said, "Pure training and fitness and paddle tennis." So he basically didn't play ball for a month, and clearly it didn't affect him. He was dominant in Eurobasket. Of course, different and obviously a different level of competition compared to what is the NBA, where you have like 5-7 foot or 6'10" small forward beasts at all times defenders. But regardless of that, he's an animal, and I'm really excited to see what he can do next season. He did resistance band training, deadlifts, dumbbells, everything. And Gay described Doncic's summer as the start of the revenge tour, especially, the revenge tour would be towards Nico Harrison. It'll be interesting to see, but got to go for it big, because we know he's poised for a big season. Probably LeBron's last year, maybe. I'm going to say probably with the Lakers at least. Who knows what's happening beyond this? Go for Andrew Wiggins, trade that pick, but it's confirmed. They're actively involved in conversations.